Hey guys, Nagi here, and welcome back again to Anyone Can Craft Part 2. And in this video we're going to be going over how to craft weapons. Today we're going to be going over a couple of different methods on how to craft your weapons, starting from pretty much every step being deterministic, to something a little bit less deterministic, but it has the potential to create more powerful weapons, and then we're going to attempt a GG craft on a weapon. And with that, we're just going to jump right in. And the first thing we're going to want to do is get a base. Of course, you have the ability to go look for one out in the world. However, it will be a little bit more expensive to try to roll the stats that you're looking for, specifically the increased physical damage, as that is a pretty rare chance to roll on a weapon when you're rolling it yourself. So in most cases, it will be cheaper to just buy a base straight out with the physical damage that you're looking for. So we're just going to go to the market here. And depending on your budget, you can go from tier 2 to tier 3. Um, and that should run you up anywhere between a couple of divines to maybe even 5 divines. If you're looking for a tier 1 roll, those ones are much more rare to find, and that can run you up to about 10 divines for a base, depending on your base. In this case, let's just say that you don't have a ton of money and you're just starting on the end game. Getting a tier 3 roll on an increased physical damage roll is totally acceptable. So all we're going to do now is just go to this guy's hideout, and we're going to purchase this weapon. You can see here it's only worth 29 Chaos Orbs, which is not very hard to attain. So we're just going to go ahead and purchase that. Go ahead, we just grab it. All we care about is that increased physical damage roll. We can, of course, roll it up higher, and we can, but I just wanted to get what was most affordable at this time. And we're going to go back to our own hideout, and we're just going to craft on this. This is the cheapest and probably most efficient method of crafting a weapon. However, this is also not the strongest way. This is a great start for getting into endgame and helping you farm the endgame so you can start building stronger things. But this is not the strongest craft that you can do. And it's pretty easy. Again, all we care about is the physical damage right now. So that suffix doesn't really matter. So all we're going to do is first we're going to take this Greater Essence of Abrasion, and we're just going to slap it onto the weapon. Then we take this Omen of Dextral Crystallization, which will make it so it'll remove a suffix modifier when we use the Perfect Essence. And in this case, we're going to use this Perfect Essence of Abrasion to increase the physical damage on this item. So clicking on that Omen, clicking on the Perfect Essence of Abrasion, and now it got rid of that suffix that we don't want, and we can continue the craft. For this next step, I'm going to use an Omen of the Liege to guarantee a attack speed roll on this weapon. So we're going to use this jawbone, this preserved jawbone, and we're going to put it onto the weapon as well. And then I want to use the Perfect Exalted Orb. You don't have to. You can just use 2 greater Exalted Orbs if you don't really care about the rolls too much, but I kind of want to chance and see if there may be a better roll than I can get here. So we're just going to give it a shot. So I'm going to use an Omen of Greater Exaltation, so I don't use as many Perfect Exalted Orbs. These are about 50 or 60 Exalts each. Slam it onto the weapon. And that's pretty good. We got a tier 1 attack speed. That's actually very, very good. So now I'm a little I'm a little scared because I want to keep that attack speed, and I also want to roll off that desecrated mod. So this is where it gets a little tricky. So what I want to do first is I want to use this Perfect Essence of Haste. Hopefully it does not hit the attack speed. If it does, oh well, kind of sucks, but we live with our mistakes and not everything is perfect. But let's go ahead and give it a shot. Okay, it didn't hit the attack speed. That's really good. Now I'm just praying that this Perfect Essence of Battle that I have will hit the Desecrated mod. If I do, then this weapon is actually super crazy. Really good. Very unfortunate about the physical roll. Now I kind of wish I bought something a little bit more expensive to make this really, really good, but it'll still be good. Alright, we're going to give it a shot here. And unfortunately, we lost the attack speed. It's alright. this kind of brings back the weapon down, kind of back down to earth, which is totally fine. But this weapon is pretty solid. It got a pretty solid roll on the added physical damage, the flat physical damage, and then we also hit our essences as well. So now all we do, go to the Well of Souls. Turn on your Omen of Abyssal Echoes in case you want a higher roll without having to spend a Divine to roll this a little higher. And we'll see what kind of attack speed roll we get. 15 attack speed, that's pretty good. That's middle of the road. I believe it can go up to 18. But since we used that Omen of Abyssal Echoes, I kind of want to give it another shot, see what happens. Hey there, look, perfect. 18 attack speed. That's still pretty good. Even though we lost at 27%, I'm not very happy about that, but this is how the craft is supposed to go with this. I just happened to get lucky when we rolled the Perfect Exalted Orbs, but now we have a crafted weapon. And this weapon, again, is perfectly serviceable for early endgame. Now we can just quality this up. We can put 2 sockets in it, and then we can just hit it with a couple of greater iron runes. And now the weapon craft is complete. You can choose to pump a couple of exalts into here, divines, and try to get that physical damage up. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot. Okay, it went up a little bit. Let's do it again. There you go, it's much better. 153%, damage went up quite a bit. And this is a solid 660 DPS weapon, and we crafted this for anywhere around 5 to 10 divines, depending on how much the materials are. I actually had all those materials on hand already, just from playing the game. But typically, all those materials, if you combine them all together, should be about 3 or 4 divine to buy. As you can see here, with the cost of how much it took to craft this weapon, if we look for something that is similar to this with all these stats, it'll cost about 17 to 25 divine for a weapon like this. Of course, if you have the currency, you can totally just buy it out like this, but it is much cheaper comparatively to just craft it yourself, and you'll be totally fine. So the next thing I'm going to be crafting here is a new two-handed mace for my Earthquake Warrior. So I'm going to make a choice here between these 2 bases that we have here, which are going to be this exceptional version of the mace, but it has a lower item level, and a regular version of the mace, but it has a higher item level. So the trade-off here, obviously, is one has an additional socket, but the item level 79 removes its chance of getting the highest possible rolls. So I wouldn't be able to get tier 1 physical hybrid, I wouldn't be able to get +7 to levels. So it's kind of a big trade-off, but this is a much more affordable setup if you're going to be trying to craft maces. You can also, instead, choose a regular two-handed mace that's item level 82, and it will have a chance at rolling these those stats that you're looking for. So in my case, I really want the hybrid physical and the +7 levels, so I'm going to be crafting on this weapon. The only thing that's difficult here is the 7 to levels melee skills. It is very rare to roll. So depending on how this goes, we're going to see how long it takes before I can get those rolls. So I'll be recording that right now. So we're just going to put it here, and what we're going to do first is hit it with a perfect transmutation. See what we get, and we got physical damage, leech. I don't want that, so we're going to remove that, and then now we're going to augment and Annul Spam until we get what we want. Alright, tier 1, that's pretty good. Now we're going to see what we get next. Accuracy, light, and light radius, no. Okay, we're going to annul that. Now we're going to try again. We got that again. Try to get it off. And we kept that, we're doing good. Strength, nope. 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 That physical damage is staying on. Okay, now it's gone. Now we have to start all over. So remove that, and we're going to go again. Alright, tier 2, I can settle with that. Let's see where we go from there. Attribute requirements? No. Leech? No. Leech again? No. Accuracy, light radius? No. And it start all over. So yeah, I'm running out of resources, but this is the reality of crafting an item like this. Again, that deterministic crafting method is there for you when you're not able to do something like this, because this does take a lot more resources. But this also gives the greatest potential for a stronger weapon. Alright, so with that, I need to buy a few more annulment orbs and augmentation orbs, so I'll be right back. And the rolling continues. At this rate, I'm going to probably run out of money before I finish this craft, but this is, like I said, the reality of trying to make something from scratch here when you're trying to make something powerful. Alright, there it is. Okay, well, this craft got a little bit interesting. So now where do we go from here? So I have two choices. Really what it comes down to here is either roll attack speed and then I can fill out my prefixes. Honestly, this is a very sellable base as it is. Or to be honest. Because I look at how much this base is. I mean, this is for a tier 1 attack damage. So I could probably still sell this for quite a bit. But this is pretty damn good. Crafting on this would be very difficult. Because now I'm going to be attempting to try to make this as good as I can. But now the question lies in whether I get either the physical damage or the attack speed. And they're both pretty important. So I'm going to think about that there for a second.
A few moments later.
So I think I made a decision. I've decided to go with the attack speed essence. And then from there, I'm going to fracture it. So I'm going to use this greater essence of haste. And we're going to add attack speed to this weapon. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a omen of Dextral Necromancy. We'll grab a jawbone. And I believe we are looking for an Omen of the Liege, or that extra chance to either aftershock or even break armor, because I do armor breaking on that, and it would be really nice to just have that on there as well. But aftershocks would be really nice. So we're gonna click these two omens, and then we're gonna hit it with jawbone. And then now the tricky part comes where I should probably divine this item to try to get the most max rolls out as I can. Okay, 25 attack speed, 166 physical damage. I could go with that. I'm going to keep going. I mean, it should be fine. Because ideally, what I am trying to hit is that seven. That's at 7 levels. The 7 levels is incredibly rare to hit. I believe it's a 0.1% chance to try to hit that on rolling it. So I think I'm gonna keep dividing this so that everything is as perfect as it can be. Let's see. We're gonna spend a few more. This honestly might be as good as it gets. If I hit the physical damage, it's not gonna be great. But either the attack speed or the melee skills would be good here. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a shot, and hopefully we hit the melee levels. I didn't see what we hit. Did you see it? Ooh, all right. So now, unfortunately, because we don't have the essence of, or sorry, not the essence, but the omen of homogenizing exaltation, I can't guarantee that the next ones will be the rules that I want. So from here, this is going to be a project that I'm going to be working on now. I'm not going to be able, so whatever happens next here, I am not going to be able to afford finishing crafting on this because it's going to take me hundreds of divines to really get in it. But we're going to roll some perfect exalts on it and pray to God that we hit some decent physical mods here. So, gonna hit it with a perfect exalted orb. The fact that we can roll T5 fire with a perfect exalted orb is kind of crazy to me. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. But it's fine. Like, it's, win some, you lose some. We've honestly gotten really lucky with this craft so far. We're gonna give it another shot again. Okay. We actually hit, what did we hit? T4? You know what? T4 kind of sucks, but honestly, more added physical is never bad. That is 216% increased physical. If only we hit the fire damage, which I think the only thing we'd have to do is get an Omen of Whittling to be able to finish this craft and try to hit that high physical. But honestly, this is looking really good. This is already a really awesome weapon. So I'm just gonna go roll that that desecration now, and we're gonna see what happens. What I'm looking for is more aftershocks. The armor break is also really nice too. So we're just gonna use this just in case, because there are 4 different mods that can roll with the Omen of the Liege. So we're gonna check it out. All right, yeah, extra aftershocks, perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Look at this weapon. This weapon is actually super awesome. Really good. I was not expecting to hit it like this, but this is still not finished exactly. This is probably a better weapon than what I have currently on my warrior. I'd have to go check. Um, but this this is what would happen. This is how crafting in the end looks like. It's very luck based, and it can get very difficult. There's a couple of things that you can do to make it so you can get certain things like the aftershock and using an essence for the attack speed. But other than that, everything has been luck based, and this is just how it is. Now I have to spend nearly 100 divine trying to get a a better roll for that fire damage. And that's pretty much it on weapon crafting. It's not very hard. When you get to endgame crafting, it's more so reliant on how much you have to spend, like, or how many resources you have to use. It does take a lot to roll a good weapon. For most people, it takes hundreds of divines, and that is just something that you will farm as you're going through the game. And for most people, they don't finish crafting their weapons until a couple weeks into the season. Once they actually get their endgame weapon, then they start working on it as a project. Once it's completed, then they'll implement it into their build. This weapon I think cost me about 25 divine to craft, counting all the orbs of annulments and perfect orbs of augmentation that I had to buy. Um, and then the weapon itself is about 50 exalt, which is not very much. Um, using a couple of the Perfect Exalted Orbs as well, and also dividing it a few times as well to try to get better rolls for that attack speed and physical damage. Overall, I'm very happy with this craft considering how much or how little I invested into it, all things considered. Uh, it's going to be very hard to find an item like this on the market. As you can see here, I selected just the physical DPS. I'll even take off the fact that it's a massive great hammer and look at the plus $7 skills here, and there's still nothing on the market currently for this. This is a very, very powerful weapon, and all I have to do now is just try to Omen of Whittling and get that fire damage off, because that's what's going to change this weapon from being an 800 DPS weapon to about a 1000 DPS weapon. And yeah, no, I'm happy. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you for watching. If this video was helpful to you, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to share with your friends who are having trouble crafting as well. I'm also streaming a lot on Twitch and YouTube, and I'll be streaming my league start for Phrecia, which at the time of this video releasing, should be starting a little later today. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.